It's Linda MacPhee's workshop. Here's Linda.
Doesn't that just want to get you sewing and get you going? I love sewing, and I love this program because my object is to get you as excited about sewing as I am. And to help me do that today, I've got a lot of different guests, but my first one is Laurie, and I'm so delighted to have you here because that's what you do, is get people excited about sewing, isn't it?
That's right. I coordinate the fashion production program at Olds College. And so I help young people and mature people that are interested in pursuing a career in fashion to do that at our institution.
Okay, is part of what's happening in the world, and it seems like home ec is kind of dying in the classrooms, is this... Do you feel this, or do you see that there's any cause or result of this?
It varies, because some high schools and junior high schools have very elaborate sewing programs, and others have just the basics. And so when we receive students that come into our programs, some of them have had a lot of opportunity, and some of them minimum opportunity. So they want to learn more and pursue their sewing skills and the technical side of the fashion industry.
I think that's kind of neat, because sort of in the olden days, everybody had to take home ec or whatever, and now we've got people who really want to do it. And I think, the field is so wonderful. So are there lots of schools like yours around the country?
There's a number of schools, particularly in the East, but in Western Canada, we're quite unique in Western Canada in that we focus on custom design and custom fit, so we work on all kinds of different bodies. There are other institutions. Lethbridge Community College has a fashion program that concentrates on manufacturing. There's costuming programs as well. Red Deer College has a wonderful costume program.
Okay, so that would be the first thing that you would say to an individual who's interested, is to check out the institution and find out what their focus is.
That's right.
And sort of decide what your focus might want to be, and sort of how would they go and visit, or would they, what's the best way to do it?
I think pursuing and asking lots of questions and taking the opportunity to visit the program itself, finding out what their focus is and matching it up to what your goals and what you want to pursue as a career.
Of course, keeping an open mind. Would these be 2-year programs or 1 year? Or
they vary. There are 1-year programs. Our program is 2 years, and as is Lethbridge and Red Deer.
And a lot of them would be 2 years, and with a practicum perhaps attached and this kind of thing?
Some of them do have practicums as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is your program on the up, or where is it going?
We're in a growth spurt right now. We just doubled our numbers for this year.
Oh, great.
And so that's very encouraging.
Maybe it's because everybody's watching the show. Do you suppose that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're very excited to be able to say that. And there's a trend going towards custom work and custom design as opposed to mass manufacturing. And so I think
that's exactly our focus. So we're really right on top of it, because everybody wants their own individual look. They don't want to be sort of mass, and I think that's what you're training people to do. And
that's right, and to fit their body properly, because everybody has a different shape and size, and we don't all fit into the proportions.
And we change constantly too, so that's part of the whole thing. Yeah. Well, Laurie, that's great. I hope that's sort of given an idea for people that are thinking that they want to get into the field, and they don't have to be the young ones. They could be old guys like me, or they could be anybody.
We always have mature students
and
as
men as well.
Mix. Yes, we do. Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody can do it.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we've got another project coming up, and you're going to stay and help me, hopefully, because it's kind of a neat thing, so don't go away.
Thanks.
Laurie, have you ever had an item in your wardrobe that you've got nothing to match and you're kind of frustrated with that?
I have, yeah.
Okay, let's bring in Amanda and show you, because I love that challenge.
Wow, look at you, Amanda.
So what we did is I found this skirt, and I thought, what a great skirt, but there were no jackets to match this. So I said, couldn't we do something? So here's what we did.
So where did the vest come from?
Another skirt. I bought 2 skirts, and the skirts were cheap. So I thought, okay, let's just make a vest.
What a great idea. May I take a closer look at that, Amanda?
Okay.
Wow.
Thank you, Amanda. Okay. And
this reminds me of what you've got on.
Well, it is the same idea, because I found these jeans, and I thought, oh, wow, these are quite honky kind of jeans. And I thought, but what would I wear with them? And I was able to cut enough off the bottom, because I'm short, to give me enough to do pocket flaps and a little bit on the collar. So that way
and
I've
you've got something in the back here too.
Yeah,
Wow.
there was nothing left over. I mean, there's no leftovers on this one. So
that's great. Can
so
you show
I think,
me what you've done here?
I think it's kind of a neat idea. So here is the original. In fact, I bought 3 of these skirts because I thought they were so lovely. And I wasn't sure, and I think this is what will happen, is that you're never sure how much you're going to need to make whatever, because you're not even sure what you're going to make. And I kind of like this little jean jackety idea. We could have put sleeves in it, but we decided just to have it as a vest. And now, instead of just being sort of a singleton skirt, it becomes an outfit, which is kind of the desired effect.
So how did you go about deciding what to do here?
Well, you see, we were kind of limited by the amount of fabric. So if you look, this is the one that we actually took apart. So this is all that we actually used of that.
You still got some left over.
Isn't that fun? We took 3 layers of that. We actually used some of the lining even, because the lining was quite fun. If you look at this jacket, you'll see that this is kind of a voily fabric, and it's kind of a lightweight. So it just was going to be too wimpy. So
you've got tricot interfacing in here.
Yeah, we interfaced the whole thing, and it almost
looks like a lining.
Yeah, you could line the thing, but it's kind of nice that way. So that was all that we had to do. So really, I think the first thing you got to figure out is how much fabric you've got. This is what our grandmothers used to do, because they didn't have fabric and they remade everything.
That's right.
And I think it's kind of a neat challenge. So what you have to really kind of figure out is get yourself a picture. We used our jean jacket pattern, and that's a good, basic, because it's got small sections, and that way it will adapt to sort of different kinds of areas. So here is the front. And if you can see, we kind of said, well, that could be one color, and this could be a different color, whatever sort of way you want. And we basically just cut these pieces from the pattern out of the fabric that you've got.
Great.
You could be piecing this, of course, because nobody will ever see.
If you had to.
Then on the back, we said, well, let's see. We could probably combine these. There's 3 actual sections on a jean jacket, but we said, why don't we combine these 2 and make it one big panel? And I think we did have to piece that down the back.
Yeah, it looks like there's a seam here, but
it
can hardly even see it in the
really
pattern.
Matter. So again, you could have put sleeves on it, but you could just put a plain yoke. So you kind of play around, and even on paper, it's kind of a good idea to just kind of play around and sort of see what pieces go where.
Gives you a plan.
Yeah.
And then you've got another one here, too.
Well, it's one of my obsessions, this little jean jackety vest thing. And I had this outfit, and I've had this outfit for quite a while, and it was a skirt that I made a few years back. And then I made a top, and the top was long-sleeved, and it was okay, but it just wasn't sort of tired looking. And I thought, how can I spiff it up? What do I need to do? And I thought, I need to shorten the sleeves. So first of all, we shortened the sleeves. And when you shorten the sleeves, you've got, a good chunk. So I thought, well, I've got that left over. I should have probably found my scraps, but this is probably 8 years ago that I thought, I don't know where I would find the scraps for this. I was obsessed about saving them, but I didn't know. So I thought, well, we could make a matching, kind of take the color out of that flower and just do it in the kind of the muslin color. And then all I really needed was the pocket flaps. And then I thought it needed something else, so down the front, and that's just top stitched down on your pattern, and then one layer of the collar, so that you get a little bit. I think it's kind of important to put a little bit on the front and a little bit on the back.
Ties it all together.
So it just kind of ties it, and it makes it look very expensive. It makes it look like you've spent a lot of time and effort and money on this. And I think
you haven't.
Yeah. So I think
that's great.
I love sort of the whole recycling and rethinking and coming up with something unique. I mean, whoever dreamed up this skirt, maybe there was a jacket to go with, but it certainly wasn't there the day I bought.
It wasn't like yours.
No, it wasn't, and nobody will have one like that. So I think it's kind of a neat idea. So this hopefully will get people inspired as to go to your wardrobe and look and see what you've got, and maybe you can revive something or take something apart or combine and make something even better out of what you had, and I think that's what this whole sewing is all about. So thank you for joining me, Laurie. This was great fun. So we're going to get more exciting stuff, so don't go away. My topic of blue jeans is just going to be continued today because we just did that jean jacket and the jean jacket vest. But the specialist on blue jeans is Ron Collins. So happy show. I'm glad that you're here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and this is what you've done for years, isn't it?
I've been teaching jean and denim making for about 12 years. It was one of my first classes I started teaching.
And of course you love wearing them.
All the time.
All the time. Denim is classic. It's forever.
You're right.
I guess the first issue that I would always have to bring up with blue jeans is that I think a lot of our viewers probably don't do blue jeans because they don't think they're going to get them fitting.
Right.
So how do we...
If you have a favorite pair at home and you've worn them out, the thing you can do is take them apart and make a pair from them.
I think that's a great idea.
Which I did with these. These are cut low in the front, and I couldn't find a pattern, but I love the cut and the fit, and that's what I did with these.
So I think that's a good solution. We might have you back another time to talk about how to get them fitting and all that kind of stuff.
With a pattern.
But I think the best way is just to use some of the old ones. They're falling apart anyway.
That's right. You've worn them to death.
Yes.
So recycle them.
So recycle them and do them again. So what do we need to do? What do we make
the first thing here, depending on your weight, or it really doesn't depend on your weight, is you have to wash and dry that fabric 3 times.
I was going to say, your weight, you mean how much I weigh? You mean how much the fabric weighs? That's what you mean. Okay.
Right. Fabric
I have to dye it again. Oh, no.
So what I do is I wash and dry the fabric 3 times.
Okay.
The reason I've added on to these bib coveralls is, progressive shrinkage.
Oh, I know that.
Because you look how long these are.
Yeah.
And once they start to shrink, I'm thinking, okay, I got to add on to these babies.
But I like the way this happens these days.
You just be creative
just
and
add another piece.
On.
And of course, you can put fringe, and the little girls are putting braids and whatever. I mean, I think the joy back in the old days, if they were too short, they were gone.
That's right.
So now you can do anything. So. All right, so we're going to use a pre-shrunk denim or twill or...
Bull denim is good. You can use linen, you can use gabardine, you can use a blend as well.
Also, what I kind of like is people are making jeans. They look like jeans, but they're out of like dress fabric.
That's right.
Yeah, like satin and stuff like that.
Semi-casual.
Yeah.
Now, top stitching is important. What I do here is I use a heavier top stitching thread on the top.
Oh, yeah.
And then on the bottom, I just use regular weight thread.
So like these two together?
You could. Get one to match the thread or the fabric. You don't want to use the heavier thread, Linda, in the top and in the bottom.
Oh, your machine will choke. It'll choke.
It doesn't matter how much you paid for that machine. It'll jam. So heavier thread on the top, lighter weight thread on the bottom.
Sure.
You might have to increase your top tension anywhere from 30 to 70%.
Okay.
And with some machines, you won't have to.
They're not all the same, so experiment a little bit, sure.
And if you want to use regular weight thread, that's fine. Another thing I would consider doing is doing a saddle stitch. What I've done here, a saddle stitch, is 2 stitches forward, 1 backward, 2 forward, 1.
Okay.
It's programmed into your machine. You don't want to, press the reverse.
The other thing that I might suggest is that use 2 spools.
That's right.
Put 2 of them through. Right. So if you don't have the right one,
that would work too.
Yeah.
So a good top stitching thread, and for construction, I just use regular thread and I serge my seams.
Yeah.
And just keep
and
it
some
simple.
top stitch and some not.
That's right.
Okay. So what are the key elements? What are the tricks? Where are we going to have troubles?
If you're working with a 10-ounce denim, use a size 12 needle. If you have a 12-ounce denim, use a 14. So whatever weight of denim you have, add 2 to it, and that's your needle size. And definitely a denim needle.
Clever. And denim needles are because they're thicker and stronger?
And sharper, and they have a real good point to them.
Okay.
For belt loops, this is because you're starting to deal with a lot of weight, a lot of thicknesses in your jeans in some areas. Now, what I do, when it comes to areas, for example, here, where you're sewing through 8 layers and you're breaking needles, take a hammer and hammer your seams. And that'll tenderize it.
And that'll take out your frustrations.
That's
too.
right.
That thing doesn't fit.
So that'll just loosen up and soften the fibers. That's all what you have to do.
And of course you could hand bring your machine through that.
Right.
I think.
But this is what I use.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That's what I. Yeah. And for belt loops, because there's so many layers there again. This is what I do. I cut my belt loops 1.25 inches wide, and I serge off one edge.
This is just a single thickness. So,
that's just a single thickness.
Yeah, okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Then I press this in by 1/3, and then I press the serge edge over top.
Okay, let me just have a look at that. So you're going to turn that in.
Right.
Turn that in like that, yeah.
And then from there, what you're going to do is you're going to run a row of edge stitching on the side.
On this side. And
then you have this long piece of belt loops.
Yeah, instead of trying to pull this through.
That's right.
That would be bad, yeah.
From there, what I do is I fold this over, I take my hammer, I hammer this I lay it on my jeans, and I use a small zigzag stitch, not a straight stitch. I do not use the heavier top stitching thread in the machine. I will switch to a lighter weight thread.
I can feel the choke right now if you tried to do that, so
exactly.
no, not a good idea.
And what I do here for stitching these on is I use a small zigzag, probably 2.0 for width and 0.5 for length, and just sew them on. From there, once it's sewn on, I flip this back, I cut that excess off, and I put a little freight check.
Oh, right on there. So
Just
cut
to
that
put
little
a-
piece off, yeah.
Just a freight check, and then I'll attach it to the other end like I've done here.
And just, like I say, do it carefully. I think sometimes people with sewing, they just kind of floorboard it and they think ram, and you don't ram.
No,
you have to have a feeling. In fact, I know my machine so well, and as you do, I don't like other people using my machine. And if I see somebody just kind of, doing that, just to be gentle,
But, the proper needle size, needle type, and a little bit of patience, right thread, you're set.
Okay.
And for top stitching, I must show you this. Let's get this jean jacket. Here's a jean jacket.
Sure.
And I know you have a jean jacket pattern too, so
Yes.
I know you'd appreciate this little tip.
Sure.
These are two feet that I use for edge stitching and top stitching. Now, edge stitching would be done closer to the edge or the seam of the fabric. Top stitching is anything further in.
Okay, I can see that this has got that little edge thing.
Right, and that one has it off to the side, and this one has it.
So that would be the
center.
clue, I bet.
Right. This one here, what I do with this one in the center, that one I would run along like so, that the edge of the fabric is in the...
Yeah, and with denim there is quite a groove there, so you can stay in the groove for sure.
And you just move your needle position.
Yeah.
If this was my sewing machine here, your needle would be just off to the side.
Yeah.
And anything
And again,
further,
you can adjust where your needle goes
right,
too. So
exactly. Anything further in, then I would use this, and that'll deepen your top stitching. Then your needle is put to the far side.
Yeah.
So you get nice, accurate top stitching and edge stitching.
I think so often people that haven't sewn for a while, they don't even realize these things are invented.
You know what?
If
I lost these, Linda, I'd give up sewing, because these you can sew till late in the morning and yet still look good.
Yeah, and people think we're so clever because all this is so straight, and you're just using the tools.
It's simple, cheap little feet. That's all what you need.
Yes. Okay. All right, you don't ever put, I see some buttonholes here. You don't ever put buttonholes on jeans, would you?
Well, you know what I've done with this pair? You can see that I've emptied out my wardrobe. I have about 125 garments that I've sewn.
Yep.
What I've done with these jeans here is, instead of putting in a zipper, what I did is I put in
of course. So that's what this, so show us how this one works.
Okay, this is really simple.
Okay.
You cut a piece of fabric that's 8 inches in length, 4.5 inches in width.
Okay.
And you press it wrong sides together.
Okay, yeah.
From there, you're going to make some keyhole buttonholes.
Okay.
2 inches from the top, about 1/2 inch from the finished folded edge.
Okay.
How is this inserted into the jeans? Very easily.
Well, everybody worries about this fly business. So this is...
If you don't like putting in zippers, do this.
Yeah, okay.
You take this, you put it behind the jeans, and when you do your 2 rows or 1 row of edge stitching to the fly front, it holds this in.
It just holds it in, yeah.
And you put your hammer and buttons on the other side, and then you've got this little...
Sneaky little buttons. Yeah. And that's the big look these days.
Yes.
I mean, the big look is definitely not with the zipper. So.
And I've had students, they actually don't put this extension in, they do the buttonholes right through here.
Oh, yeah. In fact, I've seen some braids going down
the whole works.
Just all kinds of stuff. So
I wouldn't recommend the buttonhole on the bias.
Okay.
Because every time you sit down, you'll be flashing everybody.
Not good. So show us about putting these buttons are actually not sewn on, are they?
No, those are hammer-in buttons.
Okay.
And they're very simple to put in. You just punch them through and snap them in.
Okay, and they stay well.
They stay well.
Yeah.
Another thing that I put into my jeans is rivets, because that adds in that
professional. That makes it look like you didn't make it.
That's
remember?
right.
That's our
and there's our rivets right there.
Okay.
Now there's a few things that I've changed with putting in rivets from the instructions on the package.
Okay, so you tell us that.
Okay. Now when you buy a package of rivets, you're going to find this little hole puncher.
Yeah.
And what this little hole puncher is used is actually to make a hole in the rivet.
Yeah.
But the problem I've had with this is that the hole is too big.
Oh.
So your rivet moves around and moves around, and then
good.
you'll find it in the bottom of the washing machine.
Okay.
So what I do is I use it. This comes with your package of rivets.
Yeah.
Put that underneath your
So
your
you don't
sample.
need to the table.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
Just
Make
a
nail.
finishing nail.
Yeah.
And you're just going to hammer that into
See, this is
the
not
fabric.
girly stuff. This is
No, not at all.
this is hammers and nails and
That's
stuff.
right.
Yeah.
Now there's our nail in there. Now push that nail
Yeah.
through. Don't take it out.
You probably can't find this other little rig anyway, so use your hammer and
that's
nail.
right.
Yeah.
You've lost it by now.
Yeah.
Then you're going to take the back of the rivet, which is shaped like a tack,
Yeah.
and you're going to push the nail out with the back of the rivet.
And
the
that'll
nail
bring
will
it
come
right.
out.
Okay.
The rivet will go in, and you've just moved the fibers over
And so
to
it's
allow
just
that.
very snug fit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to allow it to feed through.
Okay.
Take the front of the rivet, snap it on, lie it flat again. Use this little
so
cup
we'll put
which,
this down
which
and
you
maybe we'll
get,
sort of take this out of here and yeah.
and you just take that, lie it like so, and then you'd hammer it in. And then from there, you have your rivets, and they come in various
And they're
colors.
basically just decorative. I mean, they don't do
Well,
anything,
you'd
do they?
put them on stress points.
Oh, okay.
Stress
Yeah,
points
yeah.
is where you'd put. I wouldn't put them on the back of a pair of jeans because it's too hard on furniture.
Right, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
just
true.
on the coin pocket,
Yeah.
this area here, and you could use them as decorative details. You could put them all along the pocket.
Yes,
Here,
that's
which
what
would
I
be
would start
really nice.
liking, yes. And down like. Actually, speaking of decorative details, can we show you this one?
Definitely.
This one
this
I just thought was quite fun because you see, I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing embroidery on your jeans, but you'd have to
that's right.
let out a seam and whatever.
Now, how did you do that?
Okay, this is the foil. This is this wonderful foil
my
stuff. So you actually just take the glue and you take the top off and you paint with the glue just straight from the bottle, whatever. Take whatever color of foil you want and reuse the silver foil.
Something.
And you can let it dry or not let it dry. Put this on top, iron it, let it cool,
Take it off and then
take it
you
off.
go.
You've got designs. This with embroidery or with
Wow.
some other form of embellishment would be great fun.
So you can do these on jeans that
Jean
you
jackets,
have
you could-
already made,
Yes,
or
you can put it around the pockets,
or bought.
fluff,
Very
all
nice.
kinds of stuff.
Very nice designer detail there.
Anyway, I do want to have another trick. Have you sort of shown us? Is there any other trick that we want to see in this?
We're finished here with the jeans.
Because I have another neat little trick. So
Oh,
let me
do
show
you?
you. Yeah, come on in, model. This I love recycling. We started the show with recycling. So this is a sweater that we purchased,
Very nice.
and I mean it actually belonged to my gal that works with me, and I said, I like that sweater. I couldn't find one. So we went and got a whole bunch of sweaters.
Isn't that something?
And then just chopped the sweaters up.
Great
So
idea.
you may have these in your closet as we speak.
Yeah.
Serge them together. People think you can't cut sweaters.
Oh, sure.
But of course they're not
Oh,
going to disappear.
and you just
We even
finish-
used the ribbing from the sweater, one of the sweaters.
You just serge those
Yeah,
squares over.
yeah.
How
So I
fun.
think that's kind of a neat thing to do.
Very nicely done.
Okay, so we're actually just going to come over here for a minute, and you can see, because we've got another one, so you can see that you can take a sweater like this. Look, it's got all kinds of colors on it
All
already.
this color block.
And you then just take out your frustrations and you just say, okay, let's just cut this little baby up. And
That's
you
the
can
thing to do.
cut, and it doesn't fall apart. It doesn't disintegrate.
Great idea.
So it's a piece of fabric.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we've just
Well,
got...
we all have
find-
old sweaters at home.
Yes. Well, here's the other thing that you do with sweaters. Come on, ladies, let's see the next thing.
Sharp.
Look at this. Does this look familiar?
Oh, this looks sharp.
So do you see what it
Very
is?
nice.
Here we have the jacket, but it's the bottom of the sweater. And here is the sweater with the bottom of the jacket.
Very nicely done.
So there you go. I mean, it's just foolishness. It's plain foolishness. But
You
isn't it way
recycle.
more exciting this way than this
Yeah.
way?
I like it. I like it a lot.
So if you look at the inside, we've just chopped one off,
Okay.
serged it.
And you can-
Totally serged it.
Very good idea. Very good.
So find yourself, maybe you've got a suit jacket that you don't like, it's
That's
too short,
right.
it's too whatever.
And a sweater that
and
I
a sweater
don't
that
like.
you're not sure
Combine them.
about.
Then you
I think,
like them.
I think they look far better.
Excellent idea.
Okay, well that's sort of some of our fun things that we've done with sweaters. And let me see, there's that sweater. Have a look at that one.
There it
Because
is.
there it is inside out, and it looks like a wreck inside out.
And you can make it as big or as small as you want. Just
or
keep
short.
on adding
Yeah,
squares.
and like I say, we took the ribbing from one of the original sweaters.
Right.
So that was kind of neat. So we're out of time, Ron.
Again?
Thanks for coming.
So soon? You're welcome.
Join us next time. We'll have fun all over again.
To receive the companion book for this series, send $19.98 to the address on your screen or call 1-888-MacPhee.